Hi, you guys. So I wanted to come back because Wiley was live. He might still be live. Um, he's coming with the YouTube tea, right? Tonight. Well, last night as well. But was bringing up a topic that I didn't really pay attention to, didn't notice that Armon Wiggins and Jason Lee of Hollywood Unlocked, he also has some other page going on here on YouTube, um, are no longer, I guess, in communication. It's the way they're telling the story. Now, Wiley was saying that Larry Reed, once again, in the middle of something, the church man, right? But anyway, I'm just teasing. He, I guess, gave this information to Tasha K. But then Tasha K came into Wiley's comments and she was saying that Larry did not do anything. She was the one who she didn't get the information from Larry because Larry is friends with Armand, to my understanding. Especially when when the carry on stuff was going on, to my understanding, he was the one who gave this whole story about this Chris guy who was saying that he was living in an Airbnb with Carry On, and that Carry On, I guess he recorded Carry On saying that his father may have done something to him, allegedly. And of course, Carry On has said, and I'm going to say what he said, that that was not true, and that's not what he was trying to say. So all of that is allegedly. Um, then, of course, this guy came up deceased. And so people are bringing all of that into the whole Carry On conversation as well. But this is my thing. When people know that other people are on drugs or whatever it is that they're trying to say about people, is usually because they're on drugs themselves. So the guy was using himself, and it's possible that he could overdose with all this fentanyl and stuff that's going on out here, that these young people are buying, and it's just possible that that happened that way. Now, I'm not getting into conspiracy theories on Carry On with anyone, so that's not what I was bringing that up for. But I'm just trying to talk about the relationship between Larry Reed and Armand. So they do have a relationship, and maybe Armand told him whatever. Maybe he was asking him for advice because Larry tries to present himself as Big Brother, right? And then he's a Christian man, so sometimes. Sometimes these are jokes, Larry. Don't mind me. But anyway, so I don't know who told who, but Chelsea, who is Tasha's producer assistant now, worked for Jason Lee at one time, and she was saying in this live for 2 years. I personally have never known the backstory between them, and so that's kind of why I wanted to go live about it as well, because I never knew the backstory between her and Jason Lee. I just knew that she worked for him at one time, and now she's with Tasha, and she was saying that he was not paying her. And I do agree with her. I can understand if you don't have a background in certain things, you going in as an intern, even as a working intern. Sometimes you can become an intern without going in through education. I know most people, when you hear intern, they're going in through some university or something to that effect. But you can intern with people or work with people to get experience doing something that you want to do, right? And so I can understand her doing that, like she said in the beginning, but 2 years is a long time for you to extend yourself to someone without employment or pay offers, type of freelancing contract or something offered to you. Now, to my understanding, she's saying that Jason did not want to offer her that, so that's why she left. Right. And then, of course, she leaves with that experience as well. Right. So I don't know what to make of that. There are people who do that. If you don't not the type of person that know how to speak up for yourself, or you don't have a lawyer or somebody, agent, someone that you have that you can put in place to speak up for you. If you don't really know how to do that, people will take advantage of you. And so that is a real conversation. And I agree. I think that Armon is extremely talented. He should not have to go in anywhere as an intern and let anybody take advantage of him for free. That's what I believe. He has built his channel on his own, um, and his podcast, because he has a podcast as well on Station Head. So he's doing well for himself, well enough to where he shouldn't have to allow anyone to pull anything over on him like that. And so I will have to say that I agree. I'm gonna let you guys listen to a little bit of what they're saying, and I think Wiley is still alive. I don't know. I was trying to wait to see if Armand would say anything, because we know when people know when somebody's talking about them, right? You just know. And then people will come back and tell you somebody's saying whatever it is about you on their lives or whatever. Armand is not saying anything. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, he's probably over there on Station Head going in." I don't know. I never knew if they were following each other in the first place. I'm talking about Jason Lee and Armon Wiggins. I do know that Armand has appeared on Jason's podcast, the one that he took from Kaya, allegedly. But Kaya had the whole thing going, and then he came in, with a very similar name, right? And everybody can roast, and even if you can roast, everybody's not roasting at the same level. Like, let's just keep it real about that. I had this picture that I was gonna put up, excuse me, in my community tab a while ago, and I never put it up. I probably should put it up about roasting teams, YouTube roasting teams. But yeah, everybody's not, it's not the same, right? At the end of the day, he's still not. He's not going to get the same effect. He's not going to give the same effect as a Kaya or a Geisha 305 or a Tariq Nasheed, right? But I digress. People can run out and steal people's ideas, and that doesn't mean it's going to have the same feel for it. You're not going to get the same feel for it. I'm going to let you guys listen to it with Chelsea and Wiley had to say. So when you hear this female voice, it's Chelsea, who is Tasha K's producer assistant over on her channel. And then Tasha was in the comments as well, saying that Larry Reed didn't do this, I did this. But I'm going to let you guys listen to what they had to say.
Because you wrote a book, you was a part of that camp at one point, and it is really, really sad. I thought that Jason would pay his bills because he got the backing of Floyd Mayweather. He's traveling around the world. He go to Dubai.
What is the back? Hold on a second, Wiley. What is the backing of Floyd Mayweather? Please let me know. What does that mean? What is that? Could you take pictures with people?
He's supposed to be an investor of Hollywood Unlocked. That financially, he's backing Hollywood Unlocked financially. From what he wrote in his book, I read Jason Lee's book, but for what he had been saying in interviews, that Floyd Mayweather is an investor of Hollywood Unlocked.
Now, Wiley, I know this is bad recommendation, but I really would like you to throw that book out your library, okay? Only that book, don't throw the rest of them. Because here's my thing. After Jason stopped paying for his slot on iHeartMedia to do his radio show, and then he decided he wanted to be a YouTuber, you notice how the money team was no longer a part of his branding. So Floyd has not been a part of your branding for years, but you kept the illusion going for whatever reason. And first of all, you see how Floyd takes care of his bitches and his baby mamas. They all walking around with the newest versions and the fly shit. If Floyd Mayweather was backing you, why are you still wearing 2017 Gucci sneakers like you in high school? And you a 50-something-year-old man with an AARP card in your back pocket. If Floyd Mayweather was really backing you and backing your business.
Wow.
Oh, Lord, he come there. Anyway, so like I said, he is still alive, but yeah, so you hear what she's saying. Like, if Mayweather was really backing him, then he should have backing him how? And let me say this, because now when she says that, it made me think about the whole thing of them going with Kanye, talking about they was going to create some fake black media, which, as you guys can see, we've heard nothing else about, right? And I understand Kanye is somewhere resting or whatever they're trying to say is going on there. But I don't think that we're going to ever see that happen. I think that was just something to say. Um, and I think that what Jason probably is doing is creating these friendships, or friendship is a strong, that's probably too strong of a word, with people like Cardi B and Mayweather. It's kind of like anything, like how you would go up to someone and say, "Here, hold my book, hold my T-shirt," right? Like, and you know, just say that you support the brand, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean people really support or even know who you are or really support what you're doing. They are just lending their image for that moment. And so now that she's saying that, when you really think back on a lot of the stuff that Jason put out here, you never see him materialize into anything. I know Charlemagne was talking about how he helped him get the whole iHeart situation. Why, we don't know, but whatever. Jason has, I guess, he's been around. He's making his move as much as he can, and he's trying, right? But I think it's a part of that whole fake it till you make it type situation as well. Like, he's hanging out with Cardi B and hanging out with this and that person, but they're not really backing him, as in financially backing whatever it is that he's out here making people think that he's trying to do. And I think that he wants to show that support from these celebrities for these networks to kind of pick up on it, right? Like, whomever it is that he's trying to get one. Because remember, he was upset that they would not allow him to go over to the Wendy Williams show and sit in on her show without. You saw those people sitting in over there. I didn't really watch it, so I don't really know who was over there. I know Sherry was over there, but everybody else, But I know there were other people there as well. He wanted to get one of those spots. Now, just because Wendy may like him, do not mean that whatever channel, what is she on? Fox, whatever channel she's on, that doesn't mean that these executives are going to say, that makes sense to us. They may say, no, that doesn't make sense for us to bring in somebody when we're trying to get ratings up. We need to bring in people that we feel are going to tune in and watch, right? And just because we know who Jason is, do not mean the masses of people really know or care who Jason is, because they may not know who Jason is like that. And like I said, some of this imaging and personalities that we're seeing out here, and they have these relationships with each other. That doesn't mean that it makes sense to the rest of America, right? And I'm not trying to be mean, but it doesn't make sense to us. Who are these people? Like, I grew up in a time when I saw somebody being classified as a celebrity, it's because they had an album out, it's because they were on a TV show, it's because they were in a movie. They had to really pay dues to come in. People were not just popping up because now they're a brand ambassador because they are somebody's baby mama. And so it's still a cultural divide in that way in this country, because some of us didn't grow up on that. And I just respect people that put in the work. And I'm not saying Jason don't put in the work or that he haven't been putting in the work. But at the same time, some of the stuff that he is just given because people are looking at who he's friends with. I noticed that he don't have any pictures of Armon on his Instagram page. And at one time I thought, especially when that whole Kanye stuff was going on, about the black media stuff, there were pictures, because it was pretty obvious that he was the one who invited Armand to that situation. And it was also said that he was probably the one who was setting up this Armand and Cardi B situation. And I don't think he really went to Cardi B and told Cardi B that he was saying certain things about her, and that people were speculating if that was going to cause friction there as well, because he probably was just trying to hook Armand up. And when you, like we always say, when we put stuff out here, the stuff is out here, right? Like, people have made videos around the stuff that Armand has said. So when he said certain things about Cardi B, those sound bites were out here. You can't just erase that because now you want to be on the Cardi team when you were Queen Nick, the Queen Nikki or whatever they call it, Barbs or whatever they call themselves, child. You was on her team at one time, and now and it kind of looks away, right? And that's why it's always best to stay out of, like Wendy said, you cannot be friends with these people, because when you're trying to be friends with them, you can't talk about them at this, you can't do your job the best way that you need, to do your job. And so when you try to build these friendships with these folks and then try to talk about them, they're probably not going to let you back to the party after you do that, right? And so, I don't know. Like, people felt like, well, Cardi may have felt some type of way about finding out that he was saying certain things about her before. And like I said, I always thought that he was a bard, because he was always, saying certain things, as he was team Bard. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, she never came into his life, but she was kind of saying that she was the one who kind of put the information out there about Armon and Jason not really talking anymore. So they're trying to say, like, Jason wanted let me see. I'll just tell you guys, because I want to keep trying to find the points in his video, because they were saying a whole lot of stuff. And I think that he's still live talking about this. But Jason was trying to offer Armon a job on some podcast, allegedly. And he was saying that, Wiley was saying that he wanted Armon to work for free. Like, come in, do this podcast with me. Now, as a personality, not as an assistant, not as somebody that's learning and training, I mean, and Armand has his own studio set up, and he probably knows how to do everything that he would have somebody else do for him, even though I think that he do have somebody there working with him. But he can do all that stuff, I'm sure, himself, right? He's not in a position to where you can talk to him like you can't and nor should he allow anybody to talk to him like that. I would have to say that I agree. um yeah, if you're not willing to pay him, give him something, like she was saying, he could allow him to come on as a partner, get, if you can't pay him up front, once the podcast is making money, you can put that in the contract, you will get X amount percentage of whatever we're making, something. But you can't just ask this guy to do something like that for free. Like, and yeah, that's not, I don't think Armand should do that. I agree. I don't know if that should ruin somebody's friendship, but I mean, that's just business. Like, no, I don't have that kind of time to be sitting around for free, helping you earn a check, because we already know Jason's going to get some kind of something out of doing this. He wasn't going to go and do this wherever. I don't even know where the podcast was going to air for free. And it sounds like his iHeart situation is up. I don't know. Like I said, I can remember seeing him on the Breakfast Club or something, or seeing a clip of him on the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne was making it sound as if he was assisting him to get that in the first place. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think about all of that? Do you think that's something that Armand should have just done, because Jason is Jason? I think that Jason, and I'm not knocking him for doing that. I think that he is doing a lot of faking until he making it. I don't know if these people were, if even if Kanye was that invested in him, he should have gotten some type of check for that, right? Like, if we're gonna build this team, we're gonna have to pay these people. We're gonna we know that this is not free. Like, that doesn't even make sense. You think you go, even these people here on YouTube, the ones that are doing well, they're getting paid. They're not just here sitting on YouTube for the hell of it, right? And the people that aren't just sitting on here for the hell of it, you can tell we sitting on here for the hell of it, because we're not on here all day long, right? And we're not on here every day. So the people that are really getting paid, they're not. That doesn't make sense to them. For them, it wouldn't make sense to them. They can invest that time in their own channel, or in their own station head channel, or some other form. Their Patreon, that's time they could be spending on their Patreon. That's time they could be spending wherever else. Um, than to sit, and just because he has connection with celebrities. Um, yeah, no, I don't care who you know. Um, no, that doesn't make sense if they're not invested in whatever it is that you guys are doing to the point where money is flowing. No, nobody's going to go and do that for free. I'm sorry, like I said, unless you're a student or somebody who's really trying to run learn the ropes. Excuse me. Then it would make sense for you to go in. And 6 months is max on that. Like nobody should be doing that for years. Like this is not that hard. Okay, it's really not. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah. So I didn't know he was taking advantage of people like that. But that's not uncommon. Like we've heard these stories time and time again. Like if you give people an inch, they will try to take a mile if you let them. So yeah, nobody should be anybody's intern for over a certain amount of time, or you know, and then you get in and you get whatever it is that you think you need from that situation, and you leave if they cannot pay you. That's it and that's all. You take what you've learned and you apply it to your own situation, or you apply it somewhere else where somebody's offering you income, like Chelsea is doing right now that she is probably with Tasha. I'm sure that she's getting paid for her whatever it is she's doing over there. I think that she is producing, like she's putting the show together as far as the guests and the run of the show, pretty much. Um, and then Tasha has the young lady that got into it with Ti over there. I'm gonna come back and talk about Ti getting booed, but then Tasha is interviewing. I think her name is Lauren Knight, the comedian that he got into it with. I haven't watched the interview. I think she just put it up a few hours ago. If you guys have watched it, let me know in the comments. And what do you think about this conversation? Do you think that Armand should go and get involved in any type of podcast for free? Because obviously he would have to invest his time over there, and that would take away from what he's doing on his own channels. I mean, he has, like I said, a podcast. He may have a Patreon as well. And so all this stuff is time consuming. It's not, unless you have a team of people, and you have to be making X amount of money to even have a team of people. This stuff is very time consuming, and even if you have other people doing things for you, you still need to make sure that they're doing things in line with what you want, the way you want your channel ran. So you need to still review whatever it is that they're coming up with, or whatever it is that they're saying on your Instagram and all. It's still work that you have to put in. And so um yeah, no, let me know what you guys think about this conversation that Chelsea and Wiley was having. Do you think that Armand should work for Jason for free, with knowing that he's already put so many years into building his own channel and trying to build relationships for himself? I think based on whatever it is that he's trying to do, I think the celebrity thing is not something that people should concern themselves with. You can't get caught up in it, getting an eye over going to somebody's party and all that stuff. If you go into that party, it's not bringing something to you when you leave the party, then I don't even care about going. That's it and that's all. I'm sorry. I guess I have sat in enough rooms with people already that I don't care about it no more. And whether you have or not, um, yeah, if you're not going to these people's parties if I'm talking about people that are trying to get whatever it is that they're trying to do off the ground, then party with purpose. Don't just run into the Cardi B party just to say you was at the Cardi B party, or whoever, or Mayweather, or whoever else. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't exactly what was he supposed to get out of that. And so maybe that's what he's upset about. I don't know. I don't even know if this is how true this is. This is Wiley and Chelsea talking. Now, Armand could come back and say something completely different. But let me know what you guys think about that whole conversation. Do you think that YouTubers who have been building for over 5+ years um, should drop everything they're doing to go and work for free for Jason Lee, or anybody else for that matter? Like, I'm sorry, people got bills to pay. And California is extremely expensive. And to my understanding, he moved to LA. He was living in San Francisco. I'm speaking of Armand. He was living in San Francisco. I believe he moved to LA. So, and both places are expensive. So, yeah, people got bills to pay. Nobody had time to be playing with Jason Lee, child, please. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Do you believe it, or you know? I noticed that I haven't seen them speaking as of late. I know Armand was on T.S. Madison's show, and I know T.S. Madison has a relationship with all these people as well, including Tasha. So it's just all messy, right? Because everybody's in the same circle, but some half of their circle don't talk to the other half. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of that. Do you think that that's okay to do? And when is a good time for you to do that? Because I feel like it's a good time for you to do that if there's something, if you honestly know there's something for you to gain at the end of it. Um, but just to go and work on a podcast with somebody, wasting your time like that, and these people are putting in 2-3 hours. When they're doing these podcasts, they're not going live for 30 minutes or 20 minutes like I do, right? They're going live for hours. Like, you put in hours of your time for somebody else to earn money. Like, that's not okay for you to ask somebody to do that in no way, shape, or form. And I don't care who it is. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys ever think there is a time that you should do that? Like I said, if you don't have experience at all, I can understand. Um, but when do you think it's ever a good time for an experienced personality? Because you can pretty much call them on that at this point, right? Do you think that there's ever a time that it's okay to do that? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.